Yo, what's up everybody? SnazzyJazzyJay here. Today, I want to bring you a list of the Batman movie villains from the very worst to the very best. Since 1989, we have had 5 different versions of the Caped Crusader. Of course, there was the late Adam West originally, but he won't be included in this because in the future I plan on giving the original Masked Vigilante his very own tribute video. For many, the Tim Burton Batman movies starring Michael Keaton are still argued to be the best, and Keaton is the definitive Batman for many. We saw Keaton take on villains such as the Joker, played by Jack Nicholson, and Oswald Cobblepot, aka the Penguin, played by Danny DeVito in the sequel Batman Returns. Keaton only starred in 2 movies and then got replaced by Val Kilmer in Batman Forever. This one and done Batman we saw take on the very nutty Riddler, played by Jim Carrey, and an unusual take on Two-Face, played by Tommy Lee Jones. Once again, after that, Batman got recast and played by George Clooney, who many consider to be the very worst Batman there has been. In Batman and Robin, we see the dynamic duo take on Mr. Freeze, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The Iceman cometh.
Poison Ivy, and Bane. After this movie, Batman disappeared from Hollywood for 8 years until the Christopher Nolan trilogy brought us Christian Bale. For many, Christian Bale is their favorite Batman, and for many, they will slit your throat if they hear you say that. The trilogy brought us villains like Ra's al Ghul, played by Liam Neeson. We saw Tom Hardy take on the role of Bane, and arguably the best villain in any superhero movie, the Joker, played by Heath Ledger.
Let's not blow this out of proportion.
You think you could steal from us and just walk away?
Yeah.
I personally love Heath Ledger's take on the Joker, even though it strays away from the source material. He puts his own unique spin on it. After Bale, we have the current Caped Crusader, who many hate but also many love, Ben Affleck. Ben has appeared in Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, a minor role in Suicide Squad, and we saw him in Justice League, which came out a few months ago. What I'm going to do today is put in order from worst to the best the Batman movie villains. I hope you enjoy. To start off the list, we got all the villains from George Clooney's Batman and Robin movie. Mr. Freeze, Bane, and Poison Ivy. Everything is just off about these villains. They made the South American wrestler Bane, whose intellect is extremely high, into a screaming moron. All he is good for in this movie is tearing down stuff and being Poison Ivy's henchman. Mr. Freeze, well, geez. Mr. Freeze is just ice pun after ice pun.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
Victor Freeze is a great Batman villain with some of the coolest storylines in the animated series and comics. I really think they dropped the ball with Arnold playing him, and I really just can't get over those ice puns.
Stay cool, bird boy.
And then we got Poison Ivy, played by Uma Thurman. Honestly, I don't think she was too bad, but in a movie as terrible as Batman and Robin, I don't think there was much that could be done. I think it's better if we move on in our list and just leave this movie alone. But those right there are the 3 worst movie villains of the Batman movies. Next up, we got Two-Face and the Riddler from Batman Forever. When you got Jim Carrey in a movie, you can expect that manic energy to be there. But it seemed like throughout the whole movie, Tommy Lee Jones was trying to outdo Jim in that aspect. When I think of Two-Face, I think of him as one of the more serious Batman characters. The whole portrayal of Harvey Dent was just off for me. He was too goofy and seemed to play second fiddle to the Riddler.
No! Don't
Kill him. If you kill him.
You won't learn nothing.
The Riddler, real name Enigma, played by Carrey, was off the wall. It seems like he really embraced the role and didn't have a hard time becoming the Riddler. But overall, as great of an actor as Tommy Lee Jones is, I think the team up of Two-Face and the Riddler really just didn't work, and it brought the whole movie down.
Who is Batman?
I'm Batman.
For our next pick, we are staying in the 90s with Batman Returns. In this movie, we get a matchup between the Penguin and Batman, and honestly, they really ruined the Penguin. The villain in this movie is disgusting looking, and they changed Oswald Cobblepot's origin to a baby that was abandoned in the sewer. The fact they took so many liberties to a classic character really bothered me. Danny DeVito's take on the Penguin was just not for me. Next up, we got the second portrayal of Two-Face, also known as Harvey Dent, in a Batman movie. This version of Harvey was a little more true to the character, a more serious Two-Face that didn't do anything without the flip of a coin.
You're a lucky man. He's not.
Who?
Your driver.
Aaron Eckhart did a good job and is the better Harvey Dent, but was obviously overshadowed by Heath Ledger's Joker being in the same movie. It seems he was only in the movie just to tie it together and set up everything for the next, only getting his real shine towards the end. Continuing on, we have Ra's al Ghul's daughter, Talia. Working with Bane, Talia was almost able to take down the Batman and blow up Gotham City. She even went undercover in Wayne Enterprises and gained Bruce Wayne's complete trust just to turn on him.
As a child of Ra's al Ghul made the climb.
But he's not the child of Ra's al Ghul. I am.
She was a good villain, but Bane was the real star of The Dark Knight Rises. Staying with the female villains, next up is Catwoman. Now, I'm talking about Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, which most people will agree is better than the Anne Hathaway version, but we can put them together for this one. Pfeiffer appeared in Batman Returns and did an amazing job as Selina Kyle. From looking sexy in leather to showing off her whip skills, Catwoman is one of Batman's main villains / love interests, and when I think of Catwoman, I think of the Michelle Pfeiffer version.
I'm a woman.
I'm sorry,
As I was saying, I'm a woman and can't be taken for granted.
Up next, I'm putting the two villains of the first movie in Christian Bale's trilogy Batman Begins together, Scarecrow and Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul, of course, the leader of the organization the League of Shadows that trains Batman in the beginning of the movie. And the Scarecrow is a doctor working for Ra's that puts a fear toxin in Gotham's water supply to make everyone see their worst fear. Since Batman abandoned the League of Shadows, Ra's wants to kill him and take down Gotham because it is too far gone. Of course, Batman stops this from happening, and later in the trilogy we see Ra's al Ghul's daughter, Talia, and Bane come back to try and finish what her father started.
I won't kill you. But I don't have to save you.
Speaking of Bane, he is next on our list and a top 3 villain in the Batman movies. This version of Bane is a lot better than the Batman and Robin version. Of course, I'm talking about the Dark Knight Rises version of Bane. Bane is a force to be reckoned with. With his high intellect, he figures out who Batman is, infiltrates the Batcave armory and steals all Batman's tech, and starts a whole war throughout the streets of Gotham. Bane literally picks up Batman and snaps his back like it's nothing. Bane seemed to be one of the toughest villains that any Batman incarnation has faced. And now it's time to reveal numbers 1 and 2, and of course you probably already guessed it. It is the Joker. It is such a hard decision for me to say which version of the Joker is better. You got Jack Nicholson's Joker, which is more like the comic book Joker, and then you got the anarchist Heath Ledger Joker. For me, I personally like Heath Ledger's version a little more, even though it's less true to the Joker in the comic book and animated movies. I didn't like the fact that for Nicholson's Joker, they gave him the name Jack Napier and said he was the person that killed Bruce Wayne's parents.
Tell me, kid, you ever dance with the devil by the pale moonlight?
Man, let's go! Let's go, Jack!
See you around, kid.
But both of these talented actors did an amazing job with 2 completely different portrayals of the Joker. They are both classics till this day and will be hard performances to beat by any actor in the future, as Jared Leto. And that's my list of the Batman movie villains from the worst to the best. I hope you enjoyed this video. I didn't include Batfleck. I'm waiting to see what happens and maybe get a few more movies out of him first. Let me know if you agree or disagree. It's JD, aka SnazzyJazzyJay. Thank you for watching.